Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I created the pink overdress for Ceil in Black Butler. And like in most of my patterns, I make it up as I go. I made the pattern using my daughter's 3/4 circle skirt pattern combined with a duct tape and saran wrap pattern I created off her dress form to create the bodice. And then I just put those two together. The front and back panels will each consist of a total of 3 pieces. The front one will be cut on the fold, and on the back I have to extend that skirt itself, not the bodice, just the skirt. So I used the 3/4 circle skirt pattern to create that as well. And that one will consist of 2 pieces. And this will have a lining as well, so with each pattern I create a total of 4 pieces. And the blue pattern pieces that I'm using is actually my mock-up after making all the alterations I needed, and basically just to make sure my pattern will come out the way I need it to. And I'm using the same pink fabric I used for the hat. When I got this material, I wasn't sure how much I was going to need. I did purchase 10 yards of this fabric, and I am glad I did because I used every single bit of this fabric. And this is poly cotton that I bought from Joann's. And finally, all my pieces are cut out. This took a while to cut out. Now it's time to sew up all those seams. This will have a side seam, as I said in the previous video, with the underskirt as well. So I leave that open. I do not sew that part. I also don't sew up the back seam yet because I have to add those 2 extra panels to the back of the skirt. And then I went ahead and attached the zipper to the side. I had originally bought a pink one to match this dress, but I seemed to misplace it and can't find it anywhere, so I had to use this long white one. And with the zipper in place, I go ahead and sew the rest of that seam up. I also sew the back portion of the dress bodice up. I leave the skirt open though. I am actually trying to mimic this design on the original dress. In the lining portion, I do reinforce the bodice with some interfacing to keep its shape. With both the lining and the outside portion of the dress done, I go ahead and attach those together at the top, and I will create my own bias tape to cover those raw edges. And then I go ahead and attach the lining to the zipper. The extension portion of the skirt in the back does not have a lining, however, so I attached the lining main body of the skirt to the side seams where that extension is attached to the main skirt, if that makes any sense. And I do hand stitch the lining to the zipper. I did make my bias tape by using my bias tape maker that I 3D printed. And I attach the bias tape to the top of the dress, and then I will hand stitch it to the inside. And I did put the dress on my dress form, and I created the shape in the back of how I wanted it to lay, and then I cut that out. Or I should say I cut the excess fabric off. For the hem or the bottom of the dress, there is a ruffle going all the way around the perimeter of the hem. So here I am just taking my scraps and I am creating that ruffle. My ruffles I usually measure around 2.5 times the length of the hem, depending on how full the ruffle needs to be. And I will sew those ends together on the short side. To gather the ruffle, I just loosely gather it on my machine, and then I attach this pretty lace to the bottom of it. However, before I gather it, there is a satin ribbon that I add to the top of the lace according to my reference image. And then I will attach that to the bottom of the skirt. For the black trim details, I use this rope braid and I add it to the front of the bodice and the back, and I do hand stitch all of this down. And according to my reference image, there is a bow, a rather large one, at the back of the dress, at the top of where the skirt extension is. And I create that like I did my bow for my Ariel dress. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link for it down below and in the art card above. However, the tassels or the ribbon ends that would be, they are actually a different shape. They are actually more of a triangle shape with some lace on the end. Also on my reference image, the front of the skirt is gathered in like scalloped edges. So here I put it on my dress form and I am hand gathering it up to where I want it to lay. I am also doing the back portion and the side portions and making sure it's going to lay properly where I want it, and then I am hand tacking it down. For the top ruffle, I take this white cotton and I create my ruffles with it. The top ruffle actually consists of about 2 ruffles. One that goes along the front of the bodice and the one that goes all the way around the shoulders and the back of the bodice. And since I do have a serger, I do serge all my edges, especially on the ruffles, to prevent fraying. But each side of the ruffle, I go ahead and hem that. And as I did with the white underskirt ruffle, I do iron the ruffles down after I gather them, because these also have that black braided trim. And then I do sew the small ruffle to the front of the bodice. I do have my top thread in my machine black and my bottom thread pink to hide the stitching. And since my daughter is a child, she will need something to help keep this dress up, so I attach some satin ribbon to the dress for straps. And the long ruffle, I go ahead and attach that to the dress as well, making sure to leave enough room around the shoulders so my daughter can move her arms up and down. On my reference image, there is a black and white striped bow on the front of the dress with a flower. So I create the bow like I did the big bow earlier. And then I will hand stitch this to the dress. For the flower, I wanted to make sure it was detachable so I could wash this dress. So I just took one of the flowers that I used for the hats and I hot glued a pin to it. And I did forget to add the satin bows to the bottom of the black trim, so I added that on later, and with that the dress is done. This is one of my favorite projects I ever did. It was a long one, but I am happy with the results. And since this was Halloween last year, I also created myself the Undertaker costume. And I will create a video of how I made that as well. Next video I will show you how I created the gloves and the neck ruffle. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.